from honor.
Micah Berkley is a self-made man who has accomplished a lot in a short period of time. Raised in New York and Boston, he is the son of 2 doctors and a dual minister. Micah attended an Ivy League college until he was kicked out after being jailed for hacking T-Mobile. After serving 18 months in prison, he joined the military as a way to get the felonies removed from his record. He also spent several years traveling the world as a DJ and working with several youth organizations. Berkley, a determined hard worker, became an entrepreneur and contractor after COVID hit. It is a prime example of someone who has taken advantage of every opportunity that has come his way. He is a man who is not afraid of taking risks, and his varied experiences have made him into the successful businessman he is today. Let's welcome Micah Berkley to Pathways to Success.
Good evening. Welcome to Pathway to Success. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Hunter, with Micah Berkley.
What's going on? How you doing?
What an interesting personality he is, and you're going to enjoy his story tonight. Micah is going to share some very, oh my God, intriguing things about his life and what he's doing. Micah, how are you doing today?
Listen, man, I'm in Florida right now, so I feel good. The weather's beautiful. And hey, listen, man, you got a legendary thing going on here, so I'm honored to be here, and I'm ready. I'm ready to dance.
Oh, thank you for being on Pathway to Success. Tell us about your background and your childhood experiences.
My travel experiences?
Your childhood experiences.
Oh, my childhood.
Your childhood.
I grew up in the Northeast, and I grew up in a very. Both my parents are ministers, but both of my parents are also like doctors. Because my dad was with pediatrician, worked with kids when I was younger, and then he went into substance abuse ministry. And then my mother, she got her doctorate or whatever from college, from later on in her career. But I came from a really nerdy religious family, very conservative. Very, very conservative. And I was like the wild child. I was the rebel. I grew up in group homes because I was pretty problematic at times. And once I discovered I can use the internet is when I decided to I became really smart. Also got myself in a lot of trouble. In particular, I started to learn how to hack. Believe it or not, I learned how to hack not because I wanted to hack. I learned how to hack phones. In particular, I went to jail for hacking T-Mobile, but I learned how to hack phones because.
Hold on, Micah. You said you went to jail for hacking T-Mobile.
Yeah. So T-Mobile. So okay, I'm gonna tell you how we get to T-Mobile really fast.
How you got? You must be a genius. Oh my word! I thought they have a well secure everything in place, network in place.
They say that every time before they get hacked. Everyone says the same thing.
Oh my God, I gotta check my phone. Hold on. But anyway, no, I'm not with T-Mobile, I'm with AT&T.
The T-Mobile hack was actually pretty interesting because what it was okay, well, so let's rewind a little bit. The reason why I got to T-Mobile was I was in group homes growing up. And when I was in group homes, one of the things they made me do was like I had to do chores and stuff like that to use the phone. And I wasn't doing chores. I wasn't on that timeline. So I learned how to hack payphones. And I learned how to hack payphones because there was these things on the internet called bulletin board systems where you can actually download like these documents. You can learn how to do stuff. This is before like the internet was like what it is now, you know. And so I took that skill set of like hacking phones and applied it eventually to hacking companies like, you know, I was doing all burnout chips, this and that. And then it just progressed to the point where I was able to social engineer myself to become an employee at T-Mobile digitally, of course. And then I learned that their system was was really insecure to the point where I could drop ship cell phones anywhere I wanted in the world for free. So I created an entire business throughout college, drop shipping phones, until the feds got me one day and they were like, "Yo, bro, you can't be just like this is not, you can't do this, man. And I was like, oh man, that kind of sucks.
So, this happened. I noticed I'm not seeing you on the screen here. I'm not seeing a still picture of you on the screen. I don't know if it's okay. Now I can see you because I can see you before. So this happened while you were in college, you said.
Yeah. I was they raided my room at the room that they raided was at Brown University, and I was staying with a young lady, and the postal inspector and the federal government was the one that raided me, and it was pretty annoying because I had a lot of money at the time and I had a lot of juice.
He was the word annoying, like
it was very inconvenient. At the time. It was very inconvenient to be raided by the police. And it was more inconvenient to go to jail. But you know what? I learned a lot in jail. I learned a lot. And I also learned that it's an experience I never want to do again for the rest of my life. And I do not encourage anybody else to learn through that method of trial and error. If you can avoid it, I can assure you that it's probably a better pathway for you.
Wow. You refer to yourself as an undercover nerd, draped in urban apparel. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Well, I've always been into tech, and I've always been into development and building like not only applications but environments and systems and tools. And a lot of people would never notice that by looking at me. You know, they won't notice. They would not know that. You know, I was one of the youngest kids in the United States to get an MCSC, which is a Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer certification. I actually was the youngest at one time. This little kid from India beat me, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I was a super nerd. But the challenge being a nerd at times is you don't fit in. So I always bucked the system like I used to do. You know, I used to have that New York swag with the fitted low and the do-rag and, you know, and I was able to move through these circles pretty eloquently. One of the things that helped me was my parents being very well-spoken allowed me to move very intelligently through a lot of different circles. You know, I learned how to speak well, but I also knew urban slang. You know, I understood how to move through the urban environments too. So I remember when I was working at Google, when I was riding around in a Segway. I mean, it was a hoverboard at the time. It's hoverboard. And, you know, I'm in a 3-piece suit. I have all this jewelry on. I got my fitted on backward and I'm doing presentations. And, you know, they accepted me. They accepted me for being a hood nerd. And I ran with that for years. I actually I tokened this phrase called the new hood, where I wanted more people to come out and be like, yo, you can be urban. You can listen to Jay-Z and Nas. You can drive around in a Cadillac and still make 6 figures. Still be a programmer. Still sit up in scrum meetings and tackle challenging technical and business operational issues and not feel like you don't fit in. Sometimes they make you feel like you don't fit in, but there's a place for that, you know, and now it's becoming much more predominant. You know, you see a lot of urban inner city style people like myself who are in these positions of power and positions of like C-level now and positions of decision making and technology and I think it's dope to watch how things are matriculated. You know what I mean? It was cool to watch like like my culture get involved in crypto and some of these other, you know, social technology constructs that probably previously we would not have been involved in. So I think it's pretty dope to see like it and I'm still repping the new hood. I'm still repping the new hood. Like I'm a nerd gang all day. You know what I mean? I wear nerd gang shirts. I have a few different nerd gang shirts that I've produced and I think it's a space. There's a space for that. There's a space for like young black men and young black women who are nerds to be able to represent themselves in the urban fashion.
That's amazing. You're starting a new culture. I like that. urban nerd fashion. I like that. That's a good clothing line you could use. But you went on, when I was looking through your bio, you went on to join the military. What caused you to
Yeah.
join the military?
Well, I had to do that to get rid of some felonies. That was the only reason. Yeah.
I
So I
didn't
did.
know you could join the U.S. military and get rid of felonies. I wasn't even aware of that.
Well, there's different programs that you can go to get your record expunged, and that was one of the options that I chose. And yeah, it was just, you know what? So my whole family's in it. Look, my brother, I got brothers and sisters in the military, and one of the things I'll say is this: look, I don't think it's a good option for a lot of people. I think you make a lot more money as a civilian. You make a lot more money. You could be a lot more successful outside of the military. But for people who need that structure, people who need to have that support, it's a place. It is a good place to be. It's a home, right? I would always suggest at this point, though, is if you're going to be in the military, do it for a certain term and then get out if you want to be like an entrepreneur, because the money's not there. Right now, if you're going into the military, it'll take you about 5 years to get to the point where you're making like $80,000-$90,000 a year. You could do that 1 year becoming a cloud architect, studying cloud environments on YouTube University. So I think that, some people, the military is an option for them, but I also feel like if you really want to make it, you really want to like secure a bag for yourself, you want to do it outside of the military.
How long did you stay in the military, and where are the places that you have traveled to?
Well, I didn't travel. I didn't travel in the military. I just traveled as a DJ. The DJing was where it got me all over the world. DJing was where I DJed from everything from Nas to Cat Williams to a lot of different artists that I don't even know where they went to, but it was the music game that music was always weaved in throughout my life. It was, I grew up. So my mother being a PK, a pastor's kid. My parents, my mother was a song worship leader, and my father being a pastor, music was already ingrained into my household. Sunday morning, it would be like Saturday nights and the choir's coming by the house to practice at the house, or, you're getting dragged to church on Sunday nights, so I ended up getting involved in like this. Music was like woven through my life really early. And since I couldn't dance, I couldn't play basketball, I couldn't rap, the thing I decided to do was be a DJ. And so I traveled the world DJing. DJing is really what got me everywhere.
And so you have traveled. I heard you mention the name Nas. Was it Nas?
Yeah.
Williams. Some favorite names that I like. What was it like working DJing around those great acts?
You know what? It's a different lifestyle for me. The music industry and the tech industry is so far apart from each other, but they're so close. When I was in the music industry, it was super exciting every day. Every day was exciting, right? Every day was something new. Every day was always a lot of problem solving, because as a DJ, you're expected to solve a lot of issues that normally wouldn't even fall in your repertoire of things to fix, but they just do. Anything with sound, anything with audio, anything with stage management, anything with club venues, things of that nature, that falls on you. So as a problem solver, it taught me how to be a problem solver. But then it also comes with the negative or positive, like lifestyle, where it's like, it could be the women, alcohol, drugs that were prolific when in the music industry. At least when I was touring and doing music and stuff. So I don't miss that. I don't miss the because I was drunk all the time. You know what I mean? I was drunk all the time with women everywhere, and it really clouds your thoughts. Like, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, but it was also like, I feel like if I took that element out, I would be way further than I am now. But I'll tell you, man, waking up in some unique places around the world was experience that I appreciate, but I would not encourage for everyone.
But one advice I would give to all those who are, looking forward to go to the DJ part, don't get drunk, because
Yeah,
really missed out on a lot of stuff that you're supposed to be doing while really doing keeping the music playing. But how did you
alcoholism is prolific in the music industry, and I know I suffered from it. And I messed up gigs and this and that, and I made bad choices with women and people, and but no one told us it wasn't wrong, right? No one tells you like, hey, yo, bro, you going too crazy with the alcohol. No one tells you that. No one tells you like, hey, you're going too deep. No one says stuff like that, So I don't regret it necessarily, but then again, I don't miss it either. I like where I'm at. Yo, let me tell you something, right? If you want the same effect as the music industry, learn to be a Black successful man. Period. Right? You will get the women, you'll get the attention, you can have the toys, but it's a much safer place rather than, being in the music industry and like just being deep in it and just touring and traveling and not knowing where you're like. I mean, you're always, where you stay at, but it's just like, it's fun for a year or two, but I wish I got maybe 2 or 3 of those years back, so I could have focused more on the technology and the intelligent side that I had. I wasn't using. I was reckless, boy. I was wild out there, And but if you want that type of attention, you want that type of respect, you want that type of lifestyle, you can get it just by being a smart, hustling entrepreneur or Black man. You know what I mean? Like, we're a unique group of people. Everybody wants to be like this demographic, across the world. When I traveled, that's the one thing I learned. One thing I learned when I traveled was our culture runs this planet unequivocally. When you're in Japan, when you're in China, when you're in Dubai, when you're in parts of Africa, and they're singing words word for word, and they're wearing our style of clothing, and they're mimicking these different things, these nuances of our culture, you really realize how much clout we have, and it's definitely something that being able to experience from a third party perspective, like this being on the inside but looking from the outside, looking at the inside, it was really unique for me to know, like, okay, as a Black king, as a Black man, as an educated Black man, I can really I can still have some of these elements of this lifestyle, yet be in a safer place. I don't have to worry about like crime, and I don't have to worry about some of the negative stuff that came with like just being drunk all the time and the pills that we were being popped, and the guns and the crime. It was just it was wild, brother. I can promise you unequivocally, the stories I can tell that it is wild. But you know what? Again, I want to take away from that because it molded me to the person who I am now.
It's good. We're going to take a short break on Pathway to Success with Mr. Micah Berkley.
Micah, yeah.
And we're going to come right back.
Come out to Mr. Mac's Island Grill and enjoy some of the greatest Jamaican food all around. Address is 2400 Okeechobee Boulevard, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33409. It's the best of the best.
They're the best.
Are you looking to advertise your business? Look no further. Pathways to Success is offering 3 30-second slots each Sunday of the month for $100. Please contact 561-331-1524 for all inquiries. Are you looking to advertise your business? Look no further. Pathways to Success is offering 3 30-second slots each Sunday of the month for $100. Please contact 561-331-1524 for all inquiries.
Is it jerky though?
Welcome back to Pathway to Success. I'm your host, Dr. Michael. I'm to have Mr. Micah Berkley with us this evening. And oh my God, he's been taking us down the road of great, intriguing stories of his lifestyle. Michael, you wear many hats. I like that. Engineer, architect, digital marketer, DJ, content creator, and the list go. And you're also a father.
Father, 2 girls.
2 girls. Congratulations.
Identical twin girls.
Wow, congratulations. And the list goes on. So many things is going on for you. How do you cope? How do you do all of that? How do you manage all of that?
So one of the things I will say is, I mean, of course, faith, right? Can't say that without faith. But one of the things I love to do is experiment. I learn stuff because I'm always experimenting. I'm always trying new things. And I feel like that's something that not enough people do. Just experiment. I never have idle time. I'm always experimenting and trying to figure out how to do something. And when you experiment with enough things, you can actually become quite proficient with them. So a lot of the stuff that I do now, yeah. So I mean, I went through the corporate world where, I was in Google and Fashion Nova and Hyatt hotels and BMW and, doing really fun, nerdy stuff. But like at the end of the day, everything I was really kind of doing was either deep in tech on the cloud architectural side or deep on the marketing side. And I feel that always be curious. If you're curious, you always make money. You will always make money if you're curious. Always make money because you're going to be learning that things that other people don't know how to do, and then you can sell that. So that's where I found my success. I found my success being able to not only shape shift between a lot of different circles and be able to support people and projects in ways that most other people can't, but more importantly that you're able to add much more value to what you're working on, and what you're able to contribute much more than someone who just has a single vertical skill set.
Okay. What is the biggest challenge you've faced so far in your walk of life?
Focus. Focus is the killer of productivity, and it's the killer of income. Focus will make you lose your income fast. And a lot of people think that you could do a lot of things at once, and sometimes you can, but you can only do a lot of things at once when you have a system in place. For years and years, I didn't have a system in place. So I just did a lot of things at once, and I was just juggling. Once I learned how to get a system in place, then I can be able to say, okay, boom, I'm going to play around with this, make it a business, move on to the next thing, play around with this, make it a business, move on to the next thing, rather than I'm running business, and that business method is very, it sounds fun. Like, oh, yo, I'm a super entrepreneur. That's cat. That's like, you're not going to be able to focus and really become a beast at it. You need to become a beast at things if you want to make money. You can't just like be able to say, hey, I do credit repair and then you do this, but you're not a beast at any of them. You have to be a beast. You have to be a monster at what you do. Then you can move on to the next project. Honestly, you don't have to do a lot to become a beast. You just have to do more than most other people would do. You just have to say, you know what, I'm not going to go to a club this weekend. For the next couple of weekends, I'm going to study this particular skill set and become a beast at it. Apply your beastivity, then move on to the next project. I think a lot of people take L's because they try to America has people thinking that the idea of a mogul is the way, it's like the top of the totem pole, and it's really not. You hit the top of the totem pole when you have freedom to make decisions on your own without knowing that it's going to impact your life adversely. Like if I want to go to Africa and stay there for a month, do I have the freedom to do that right now? Right now, I don't. Financially, I don't. But if I had the finances and I had the systems in place to allow me to continue to run my businesses on, automatically, then I would have that freedom. Being a mogul isn't all it's cracked up to be. It's tiring. This stuff is exhausted. Like team no sleep is not a healthy thing. People think it is, but it's not. Team no sleep is not healthy. So I did the team no sleep for like 10 years, and now I realize now it's so much better now that I'm focused. I got a few smaller projects, but they're bigger projects now. And being able to charge more has been a blessing for me. Before, I was scared to charge more, right? I was scared, even with my background and my experience with some of the dopest companies in America, I was scared to ask for more and scared to charge more. Now, especially living in Miami, listen, bro, you put your number out there. You put your number out there, and let me tell you, one of the things I learned, my boy Carlos, right? He's all my guys around me are millionaires, so all super successful, which is a blessing to have. I have literally every single person in my inner circle is a millionaire except me, but that's fine.
Maybe you'll become the billionaire of the group.
Say it again.
Maybe you'll become the billionaire of the group.
It's possible. It's possible. But you know what? I don't aspire to be a billionaire. What I aspire to right now is that level of freedom. right? I just want to have that level of freedom where I can move how I want to move without it impacting my businesses and impacting other people. I just want to be able to live like a butterfly, man. I just want to be able to move around. And but like with my dudes though, it's good having a support network that I have though, because I can't stress how important it is to have people around you who are where you want to be, rather than having people around you who are all at the same level. Big difference. That was the biggest game changer in terms of me culturally and societally. Like when I started choosing and hanging out with friends who are way more successful than me, it forced me to level up. But when I was comfortable with all these women and all these dudes who were just like, yo, sound like we whipping Nissan Altimas this weekend. And I was like, it didn't force me to level up, you know, and that's to have that is important. And here's the thing, you can find that. People are like, well, I don't know any millionaire friends. Listen, yo. Only follow people who are in the place that you want to be at. Only take advice from people who are in the place that you want to be at, right? All this other stuff is cap. Like, if they're not where you want to be at, you don't need to be talking to them or following. I mean, you can talk to them. Let me phrase that. You know, of course, friends are your friends. But, like, one of the big issues I had when I first jumped on Facebook was that I was only accepting friend requests from beautiful-looking women, which messed up my mind when my whole timeline was all baddies, right? And it made it so like when I had good women in my life, I was always feeling like, yo, maybe I just got to level up a little bit more, and it made me non-committal. And the little things that you do will impact you like that. Now, since I have a network of people all around me who are super intelligent, super wealthy, and they force me, without saying a word, to level up. It's a great place to be, and I enjoy this space that I'm in right now, especially living in Miami, because one thing I've learned out here is that the more that you charge, it's scary at first, right? I remember when I went from charging $1,500 to do I remember when I went from $500 like 3-4 years ago in Chicago. No, maybe 5. Go ahead.
Don't want to cut you, but what are you doing now?
What am I doing now?
Yeah.
So right now I do digital marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I spend most of my time generating leads for businesses, and I spend most of my time. I'm heavy on Facebook advertising, Google advertising, TikTok, so influencer marketing, and digital marketing as a platform, right? Generating traffic is what I'd excel at now.
But you have worked for some major big companies, especially playing such a major critical role in those companies. Do you feel that you're pressured? While you were in those companies, what have you brought from the experience working with them to what you're bringing now to the public?
One thing I will say is this: when you work in corporate, you deal with a lot of complex issues, not just social issues, but technical issues that I was not experiencing out here in the public space. And I do miss those challenges, but it also allows me to share how to do complex technical, how to resolve complex technical issues, and bring tooling that I wouldn't have known about if I was just in a small business arena by itself. It allowed me to bring tooling and also processes for getting projects done, like Scrum and ITIL. There's a lot of these different models of doing work that I would never experience in the small business community, but now I can bring them to the small business community and teach people like, yo, this is a better way of doing this to make yourself more efficient.
Any big projects you're working on right now?
I have 2 massive projects I can't speak about, but I'll say this. A lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now is in AI. AI is going to change everything that we do. AI is going to fundamentally change everything that we do in the next 18 months. It's going to change the way you interact with people. It's going to change the way I interact with people. It's going to change the way websites are designed. It's going to change the way copy, ad copy, and things like that are created. It's changing everything. So I've been fortunate enough to be able to dive in on this particular subject and create application and tools within the AI space that I also think that's going to fundamentally change the way we do business.
For those who don't know what AI is, could you elaborate on that, please?
AI is training computers on the simplest way to describe it is this. Imagine taking Wikipedia and all the big news sites and all your content from social media, having a computer ingest that and learn how people talk and interact with each other, and allowing and being able to access that intelligence that is gathered through a series of prompts where you can say, hey, what is the meaning of life? And it will take all the different things that are learned and give you the definition of what the meaning of life is. Now, mind you, it's fallible to what humans put out there. But where it's genius is that it allows you to have an assistant that gives you, it's like having an assistant that is a super genius that you can tap in at will. And Chat GPT, which is something that I have to get you on, brother. Because once I get you involved with Chat GPT and show you how to use it, how you can use it to create content for pathways for success, how you can use it to automate responses to what questions that people have, you can realize how much of a game changer it is. Chat GPT is literally, we are on the fringe of a massive shift in technology. And we're going to remember this year in particular, the year 2023, when that shift happened. It's going to be as big as what we experienced when the internet and the World Wide Web came out, and when cell phones allowed us to use like the iPhone and smartphones and devices came out. This is that big. People don't realize it right now, but you mark my words, when I come back to this tape, we're going to play it back 5 years from now. You'll be like, yo, that was my man. He said the same thing that day. I promise you. It's that big.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? A very brilliant young man with such great ideas, such great creativity. And if there's anyone that is watching and they would like to access your expertise, how can they get in contact with you?
Well, where I see myself 5 years from now is a place of peace, probably tucked away somewhere quiet. I'm not gonna lie. I've done the city life for so many years now. Now, you know what? The things that I thought I would never want, I kind of want now. You know, you kind of want the wife now. You want the family environment. You want to you want It's gonna sound so crude and disrespectful what I'm about to say, but like waking up to the same woman every single day, where a woman that knows you, you know her insides and outs, right? You like, this is the same situation every day in, day and out, and waking up to like a healthy family I think is the biggest flex. That's the big flex, right? Like, because now I live in Miami, which is what I've learned in the last couple of weeks. Really, it's one of the most loneliest cities ever, because Miami is a city where people peacock. Everybody peacocks. Everyone has their body done. Everyone does this, and they're all on a quest for a pairing with somebody. That's what it's about, right? It's a pairing. Like, you want to find, and your hope is that you find the most successful pairing on this side, or the most successful pairing on this side, and you either level up or you just meet somebody at their level. And it's a lonely ass city, yo. Miami is lonely, man. It's like you would never think of it that way, because there you seem like everyone's having fun. But
that's what I thought when I went down there several times. I had fun, but I didn't think that way. But go ahead, you're doing a great job. You're opening my eyes.
Miami is very lonely. And I don't see it being my forever home. I definitely will max it out, though. I'm gonna definitely enjoy some of the fruits of my labor. But that's where I want to be. I want to be in a place of peace, probably tucked away in some island or something like that where I can work remote. I got the kids running around. Wifey's just, she's doing what she loves. And we all making money. The money's there. The money's gonna be this abundant. So I feel good about that. And the way they get in touch with me, there's several ways. You can you've been sharing my link for the last couple of days, so you can find me on social media very easily. Go to workwithmicah.com. That takes you to one of my links where you can set up meetings and stuff like that with me. Like I said, just hit me up on social media. I'm super accessible. I don't return phone calls. That's the only thing I don't return. So if you call me, I'm not going to pick up the phone. But everything else, I'll definitely respond to. Messages, inbox, emails, whatever. And
you don't return phone calls?
I'm terrible at phone calls. Phone calls are so legacy to me. It's so like 1992.
even the president returned phone calls.
So like, okay, if we have a call scheduled, yes. But since I've sat here today, we've been talking, my phone is going up quite a few times, and I have no intention of even returning those phone calls. Now, if you text, I'll respond to you. I'm still a modern age dude, man. Like, I don't really want to be bothered with phone calls. I feel like
will have to text you.
Say it again.
Your daughters will have to text you. Your twins will have to text you.
My daughters will have every access to me that they can possibly imagine. My daughters can sneeze, and I'm gonna be like, God bless you from around the world. So well,
you're in business, so
sorry.
That must have been some of the technology things that he's working on backstage. But you're a very amazing young man, very, very, very witty, very smart and intelligent. And I would be surprised because I think you mentioned earlier on when we first got on this interview that your father was a pastor.
Yes. Both of my parents are pastors.
Both your parents are pastors.
That's correct.
I would be surprised if one day you end up in that field. You're so well versed in explaining everything.
Hey, listen, brother. You know what? I love your pathway to success, but don't wish that upon me right now, man. Don't do that, man.
I'm not wishing that on you.
You doing so good, man. Like you were doing so well, man. Like don't wish that upon me. I mean, like, listen. Ministry is a beautiful blessing, right? For some people.
Yeah.
But I don't see it in my. It's not on my board.
Right.
Maybe one of my other siblings. You know what? God, go ahead, man. So one of them speaks in tongues. So that one.
And you don't speak in tongues.
I can do it on demand, but it's not authentic. Yo, it's not authentic. And you know what? So like, I'm always being comedic and being silly, but being in church, you learn to like mimic things, and like there was times in church I had to fake it till I had like, they'll ask me to pray, and I'll be like, I had people I grew up with in church who would speak tongues at my age, which I never understood. I couldn't do it. They were able to do it. I couldn't do it. Although I could fake it.
But I'm sure there are people that was at your age could not have done what you have done in terms of technology, how brilliant you are, or techie savvy you are. Also,
I always feel weird saying yes about stuff like that. I do feel like I had a niche. I had an area that I can exploit and run it up, right? I don't ever feel like I'm smarter or I had a better background than anybody else, because I really didn't. You know what I mean? I was still a hood ass kid. I loved smoking weed. I liked, women with nice bodies, and I liked just doing criminal stuff because I wanted to feel like I was getting over on somebody. And I think the thing that made the biggest difference in my life is that I had a moral compass, and that always kept me north. And that was my family. My family kept me north, even though I pretty much rebelled against everything that they told me about, right? But my moral compass was always north. So no matter what, I would always come back to north. And I think as a parent, if you could, without drilling it into them, just like do no evil. So in Google, at Google, our motto or their motto is do no evil, right? And you might do evil stuff at times, but your intention is not to do evil. And if you kind of drill that into somebody, like it'll guide you toward the right place. And I've been fortunate enough to feel like I've always been guided toward north, which is always the good place or the honest place. And I think that makes a big difference. That makes a big difference in a kid's life. You know, having people around you who don't necessarily want to drill you and tell you to go the right way to go, but at least tell you to listen, just do good. Right. Like, be honest, bro. Like, be a man about certain things, you know. And I think that stuff makes a huge difference.
I can see you going north for real because you're tired of Miami already. So you've been headed maybe north in my I'm up northwest Palm Beach, but I want to thank you for taking time out and sharing your life
Absolutely.
story. Such an interesting, such a brilliant young man. The moon is the limit for you. Congratulations on your new life.
Yeah.
How old are your daughters?
My daughters are 3.5 years old.
That's good. Congratulations.
3.5 years old. They live in Chicago. They don't live out here. They'll be living out here soon. I think this summer I might have them out here. But yeah, you know what? It's a blessing to be here. And you know what? And here's the thing. You know, I think it's important that we shot you out because a lot of people don't realize, especially you, right? Like, I'm not saying especially in that way, but it's like it was blogs, it was strange radio stations that I used to listen to, it was weird websites that I used to go to that really cultivated and shaped the direction I moved in. Right? There was like these weird underground radio stations I used to listen to, and people would have. It wasn't a podcast at the time; it was over the air, terrestrial radio. But it was people like you who gave people a different perspective on life, and that allowed people to realize, you know what? Maybe I can pivot over this way, or pivot that way. So I don't take these opportunities for granted, and I don't think you should take these for, like, I know this is something that you do, and this is a blessing for you, but brother, like, you don't know who you touch. And I remember my dad saying something to me, and I'll end it with this. My dad said something to me when I was young, and he said, listen, Micah, all it takes is a spark to get a fire going, you know, and it's all it takes. I mean, forest fires start from sparks, right? And I didn't really understand what that meant until later in life, when one day, I know we're running on time, but one day a young gentleman who I didn't really realize I influenced came up to me and hugged me at an event. He was like, bro, you changed my life. He was like, 4 or 5 years ago, you were at an event and you were DJing, and after you were DJing, you were talking to the crowd and you told them about technology, and I was alone. I didn't have an opportunity, and I never saw a black person doing what you were doing. So I got into it, and my life's been completely changed since then. And it was like, that's when you start realizing those little embers that you leave behind actually do mean something to other people. So you keep this thing up, bro. I think you have a powerful gift. I think you have a medium that works, and you got a good camera over there, man. You look crispy, bro. You look crispy, man.
Thank you from the digital genius of the United States of America and the world, the urban world, and whatever world, all across the board.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and looking forward also for your expertise. I'm sure there are other persons, all those who are watching. We have so many people watching online this evening would like to really touch base with you, because your story is a tremendous story. One that really shows a young man that perseveres, very gifted, and one who's really making great strides in this universe. one who your daughters will one day look back on videos like this.
God willing.
My daddy made a legacy for us that today we can stand tall and proud. I'm so proud of you, Micah Berkley.
Absolutely.
Thank
you
so much.
We'll talk again soon. I'll talk to. Let's talk the next. When I get
Michael, I believe in calling sometimes. You gotta answer your phone.
I'll answer my phone for you, bro. You got that.
You gotta answer the phone.
You got it. I'll definitely answer the phone for you.
And I definitely, when I come down to Miami, I'm coming there maybe tomorrow. I'll look you up.
Let's do lunch. I got some beautiful places out here that I love enjoying.
Michael, I could be a bit. I'll be busy that time, but maybe later on in the evening.
Listen, I'm here. I live here. This is where I live. This is my home. So anytime you're ready to sit down and chop it up, let's do it. I'm here.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yep. Trust the verb brilliant. They call him the urban nerd, Mr. Micah Berkley. One who made a difference in today's society. One who's today trending a new wave for people who have a great desire to learn more and to make it big in life. In closing, I want to let you know, believe in yourself and you will win. Have a great evening. God bless you.
Take care.
Take care. If you're not spiritually strong,